I hear artists say all the time that they don't have enough time to make art. And honestly, I've said the same thing myself. I work a job, I'm trying to build an art business, a character design, concept art portfolio, I'm making YouTube videos and Instagram content creation, and there are days when I genuinely feel like there aren't enough hours in the day. But I've started to realise that I probably have more time to make art than I think I do. And I think a lot of other artists probably do too. So while I work on this painting, I want to talk about where that time actually goes and why even small amounts of painting time can make a much bigger difference than you might think. I work a side job, doing a certain amount of hours every week. I don't have unlimited free time. I'm also trying to build an art business, so I'm not coming at this from the perspective of somebody who has 6 to 8 or even more hours every day to sit in the studio and just do pure art and design work. Even though I have been in that position before, I'm not currently in that position right now. But I think a lot of the time people use the excuse of having a job as a reason why they can't make art in the first place, and it doesn't make sense. We still have many hours in the day and we can do so much more. We really can. Like, I get that setting up an easel to do an oil painting can be a hassle. You might not be able to leave everything lying out. There's a few things going on in the environment, but there's so many other things you can do, and even small bursts of deliberate painting or drawing activity can really make a difference. And I think when you come home from work and you're tired, you might just want to relax, right? You want to turn on some entertainment, you might want to scroll, you might want to just do something completely different. But art is, and the creation process is still a very relaxing pursuit. Of course, it requires concentration, energy, and focus, but you can still do something even if you're in a tired state. Right now, recording this video, I've been working all day. I had quite a late night last night, and I was up early this morning, but I'm recording this video, and my intention is, once I finish this video, I will be going on to do some more oil painting. I just think we have more time throughout the day, and a lot more time than we say we do in and around our jobs. Like, what are we doing first thing in the morning? What are we doing late in the evening? Whatever it is, around those shifts or whatever kind of work you're doing, you can definitely squeeze in a little bit more deliberate practice for yourself. Distraction is another issue, of course, but where does your time actually go? We tend to measure the amount of time we have by looking at our schedule, if we are keeping our schedule and keeping track of it, but we don't measure all the little pieces of time that disappear throughout the day. And this is really big. Phone scrolling is the obvious example. You might think you don't have an hour to draw or paint, but how many 10-minute sessions or periods disappear into Instagram scrolling, YouTube, any other social media platform, checking messages, replying to friends, making food, lying in bed, scrolling, whatever it is. If we were to actually track how much time is lost through those time-wasting activities, we might actually be really surprised and quite shocked, because some of that time, even just a little bit of that time, could be put towards developing our art practice, and all of that will add up over time. I briefly touched on this earlier, but what do you do first thing in the morning and late at night? What are you doing with the edges of your day? You've got those little periods before work, after work, before going to bed, waiting for something, etc. What's the first thing you reach for when you wake up? Like, I think for many of us it's going to be our phone, right? But what if you reached for your sketchbook, What if you put your clothes on, went straight to your workspace as an artist and started painting? And also, what is the last thing that you do before you go to sleep? And how about small painting sessions? This painting session I'm doing today isn't going to transform my career. It's not even going to finish the painting, but that's not really the point. If I do this for 2 hours a day, or even 1 hour, and another hour next week, and another 2 hours the week after that, eventually I've painted for 20, 30, 50 hours. All of this adds up, and all of this compounds, and eventually you're going to get towards landing at a finished painting. The task might have seemed very daunting at first, but you've arrived after consistently showing up. I think artists often underestimate what consistency looks like because they judge individual sessions instead of accumulated hours. This is something I've talked about before, the 10-minute rule, but how about 10 to 15 minutes? 10 to 15 minutes of practice. I think that small amount of time, it doesn't seem impressive, and you might think that it's not worth it, but even 15 minutes times 5 days of your week times multiple weeks, the hours start to stack up. Again, it keeps you consistent. You can actually improve your skill level over time by doing this, and it's just a short burst of activity. I think last night I'd done the painting session that I'm showing you now, and I saw that I had about 15 minutes before I wrapped everything up after I'd taken a break, and I managed to squeeze in the final 15 minutes whilst the paint was still wet on my palette and also on my canvas, so I could move it around a little bit more. That was the point where I did a little bit of detail in the eyes here. What are you prioritizing throughout your days? We all have limited time, right? That's the uncomfortable truth. So this isn't really about finding an extra 5 hours a day. It's about deciding what deserves the hours you already have. Something to think about, I think, for all of us. So how can we actually take action on all of this and do more art throughout our week? I think one of the main important things is to be calm. Sit in your workspace and begin. And if you're an artist who's trying to make more time for your work, build better habits, and actually stay consistent, I've created a community called The Artist Path for exactly that. There's a link in the description if you'd like to come and join us.